Move on to discuss Austria. They have defeated the Netherlands and they finished first place in their group. A massive result for them in this game. There's two angles to go about it. There's the Austrian perspective and the Netherlands perspective. I'm going to start off with the Netherlands. Um, Netherlands, in my opinion, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Now, there's concerns in this team. The midfield has been injury ravaged. Even this game, they played Virman, and Virman was clear he was not at the level of what he can be when he's at his best, Joey Virman. And you could see the distress on his face when he was substituted after just 33 minutes. He was nowhere near it, and it was clear. 33 minutes in, he was substituted immediately. Bad look for him, and former, even crazy thing is, former Dutch legend Van der Vaart, Rafael Van der Vaart, former Tottenham midfielder. He came out and he admitted that it was tough to watch the players' reactions, and that Koeman made the right choice when he was on Dutch TV, but he was just nowhere at it, and it was really really shocking to see. You don't really see that at this sort of level. Now, players do get substituted sometimes earlier in the game, but yeah, wow, 33 minutes in, and it really just shows the concerns amongst this midfield um, for Netherlands. Um But overall, I would say I don't think it's all doom and gloom with this team. Now it's clear they live and die by Memphis Depay. And today, it was really back and forth game. They were so opened up in certain times because of the way Austria played to one extent, but they were so open sometimes in the back. It was very concerning. Um, I thought what Cody Gakpo was able to do really. He's a different player playing for the Netherlands. He's a brilliant player playing for the Netherlands. And what he was able to do in this game, how dynamic he was a good sign for them. But just how open that they were. Now, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal, actually, is a crazy thing to say. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I don't think they just enter this European Championship knockout stage as some easy pushover for whoever they face. I don't think it's that they're that bad of a level. They're clearly not at the level of the Dutch super teams that we have seen in the past. There's no two ways about that. But the desperation to really chase this game was not there, to be honest. Like, I believe if this was in a situation where they needed to at least get a point from this game to move on, I don't think they would lose this game. I think they chose, not chose, but there was certain moments that they really went after it, and then there was certain parts of the game where they really were put on the back foot, which is not a good sign. But I don't think, I'm not saying they didn't try or anything. That's a crazy thing to say. But I definitely think the level of desperation wasn't there from a team that's facing elimination, which they weren't. But I think it would have been a different story if it was. Really concerned how open that they were defensively. Now, the first goal did come off an own goal, but overall, I thought Austria was the better of teams. They were more lively in dangerous areas. The periods that Austria dominated were really, really dominant. Now, the stats don't really tell that when you look at 11 shots for Netherlands, 9 for Austria, 2 shots on target, 5, 47% possession, 53% for Netherlands. But I thought Austria was the better team. Austria is a very, very fit, energetic team. And um, Arnautovic, he came out in the presser afterwards. He actually did it in Dutch because he played in their division, talking about how they're energetic, how they have so much energy because they're fit. And yeah, that's the case. They are a very fit team. And it's amazing how Ralf Ragnick has been able to adopt his philosophy in an international team, which is not which is a difficult thing to do, with the fact that you don't have as much time with the national team as you do with the club. How these players are at these fitness levels to be able to play this pressing system, this energetic, open system, and kind of heavy metal football. How does he develop the fitness of these players within the short spurts of times that he has them? And he only gets the players about a week, 2 weeks before the European Championships begin. How does he get all these players at the top level of fitness? I don't know how. It's remarkable to me how Ralf Rangnick is able to adopt this sort of philosophy. When I was first introduced as the Austrian manager, I was like, can he? Because I was never really, I never disrespected him like the way United fans or Premier League people did because of what he showed at Manchester United or what he didn't. I always knew he was a brilliant manager. When you look at what some of the other German great managers say about him, like Jurgen Klopp, like Hansi Flick, Nagelsmann, what they say about him, the reputation he has amongst Germany, being really the god or the grandfather of heavy metal, high gegenpressing, high intensity football. I always gave him the respect that he deserved, and I thought he had a good opportunity to change it up for Austria, but I was confused in the fact that how can he adopt this philosophy amongst a national team when you don't really have that kind of time with the players? But the style of play that they had, you saw from the first game on, they lost to France, but they impressed versus France. They more than made a good showing on themselves. Then they took care of the opposition when they needed to against Poland. And then in this game, they were really clinical. They really took advantage of the chances when they came. They were professional in how they did it. Whenever the other team when Netherlands equalized the second time, they didn't put their heads down. They didn't go in a shell. Instead, they lifted their heads up and they kept going on. They used the other team as scoring a goal as a way to push themselves on even more. And yeah, this is a brilliant result for Austria. I mean, absolutely brilliant, because they win the group, right? Now, I said this yesterday when I was previewing the group. Winning the group or finishing second is not the worst deal when it comes to the round of 16 ties, because no matter what, you'll be facing a second place team. So you'll be probably facing, I don't know exactly what second place teams there is. I think one is in group. One of it is Portugal's group, I think, or the other is Belgium's group, something like that. But there's still two second place teams. But the difference amongst finishing first and second is when you look at the side of bracket that they're on and what potential matchups will they have in the quarterfinals, semifinals. Because France now, since they finished second, go to the side of France, of Germany, Portugal, Spain. While Austria get a much easier side when you look at right now. So far, the teams confirmed, it's Switzerland, Italy, and England. That's and now the other teams were probably going to be Belgium. That'll be probably the other decent team that could potentially be in that bracket. That's a massive reward for Austria in winning the group, you have to say. Now they have to take care of the quarterfinals or the round of 16 against the second place team that they play. But if they're able to take advantage of that team, they have the necessary means to make a run. They're well managed. They got players that play at very good levels for their national team, that step it up for their national team. You saw Marcel Sabitzer, not just the goal he scored, but in terms of general play, absolute brilliant. Baumgartner, he has ability. He's a very tidy player. Anatrovic, he normally doesn't start. He started today, but he's a guy off the bench that can make a difference. You got the likes of Konrad Leimer, and they were able to rest some of their key guys too in Baumgartner and Leimer and still get the result. So yeah, this Austrian team is not a team to be messed with. I think this is an Austrian national team that we'll see at future international tournaments too, because these players are not aging. Ralf Rangnick is going to continue to manage them. He's staying on despite being linked with Bayern and them trying to go after him. He stayed on with Austria. So this is a team that's not only going to be an outfit at this European Championships in the knockout stage, but this is a team that I see in the World Cup in 2 years. I think they're, especially with this 48-team World Cup, the expanded World Cup, don't sleep on Austria. I think they have brilliant players and a great manager, and they have a great way of going about it. So hats off to them. Congrats to them. They win the group, and massive achievement for them winning the group, because we didn't give them a chance. If you looked at it from when the draw happened with France, Netherlands, and then we didn't know Poland at that point. It was the playoff, because when the draw came, the playoff didn't happen. But if nobody gave Austria a chance to win the group. Nobody. And now they've gone on and done it. Massive congratulations to them.